Hey, what's up, people? Heading down to the hardware store to get some more parts. Just got done writing a novel on YouTube, on YouTube. They're over in New Zealand. They got the LG, the gay and lesbian people marching, and then the Maori natives were doing the haka, and everybody's arguing over it. And it took me a minute to say how I feel about it. I mean, and everybody I don't know anybody that really thinks about gay and lesbian and everything else, but they have a right if they're consenting adults. Those are the two key words for me. And I told them, I said, look, two consenting adults, you got the right to do whatever the hell you want to do. And you should not be attacked. You should not be messed with. I don't judge anybody because they're gay or they're lesbian. It's not my place to judge people. That's God Almighty's place, not mine. I've sinned more than most in my life. For me to be judging on people, I'd be a hypocrite. I said, I don't know how it is in New Zealand, but over here in America, we've got our kids in grade school reading pornographic stuff about a guy screwing another guy in the butt. And you got some states are trying to make it legal that a juvenile, a child under 18 years old, can get a sex change without the parents even knowing. 23 to 28% of the students in California can't even read and write. You can look it up, it's a fact. That's a quarter of the high school graduates in California cannot read or write. The schools need to stick to reading, writing, and arithmetic. And they need to let the parents teach the children the morals that the parents believe in. It's not the school or the state's right to push this shit on the children. There was a woman down in Texas was trying to get her son, who was 7 years old, a sex change. And let's be real clear about that. They take the penis, they cut it down the middle again, and they tuck it in and they make a vagina. And that when they make that vagina, they got to keep a ring in there to keep it open and everything. And at 7 years old, the human brain does not fully develop till the early 20s. At 7 years old, a child has no idea what his sexuality is. And I know people that are gay and lesbian, and I don't judge them. If you're a consenting adult, it's your right to if that's what you choose to do, well then that's your right. And you shouldn't be harassed or messed with. Most of the people I know can give two shits. I joke all the time and say I'm a lesbian trapped in a man's body. If I was born a woman, I'd probably be chasing women. Got a beautiful, curvy woman or a hairy-legged man, that's a no-brainer for me. Women are proof that God was an artist. But most people I know don't even give two shits what two consenting adults do in the bedroom. They could care less. And they're trying to shove the shit down everybody's throat. They're mad at the Maoris for being against it. Well, they got just as much right to be against it as you have rights to be for it. And the thing that really aggravates me about it is that in America, 1 out of 4 girls are assaulted in a sexual way before they're 18 years old. And it's 1 out of 7 boys. That's not counting the physical abuse, the mental abuse that goes on in houses. The world needs to be worrying about protecting our children and not about, can a man have a baby? And point blank, there's this channel, it's called the Conservative Twins, these two twin guys. It's hard to even explain. They had a video on there they were showing and talking about. It was a man that identified as a woman and a woman that identifies as the man. Well, the woman got her breast removed. I tried to give my uncle one of my eyes because he's legally blind. They wouldn't let me because they said that's self-mutilation. They won't take an eye from a live donor. But they'll cut a woman's breast off because she identifies as a man. They'll chop a man's penis and tuck it up in him because he identifies as a woman. Okay, that's fine. If you want to do that, go ahead and do that. But somehow she got pregnant. I don't know how, but she did. And they have the baby. She can't breastfeed. She don't have no breast. And here this motherfucker is with these dirty, sweaty titty in this baby's mouth, crying, saying, I'm not producing milk. No, you're not gonna be producing milk, motherfucker. Go get some formula, get your nasty titty out of that baby's mouth, and get some formula and feed that fucking baby. Crying because you're not producing milk. You're a man. You were born a man. At the Olympics, you got this female from Italy, boxer. She's a police officer and she's boxing. They got two biological men boxing. She quit like 30 seconds into the fight, crying, saying she ain't never been hit like that. When the Creator made man and woman, He made man the warrior, the provider, the protector. He made woman the loving, nurturing, compassionate part of the yin and the yang. And that's why, by and large, most men are physically bigger and stronger than women. They keep doing that shit, putting men and women's sports. Some woman's going to end up getting killed. And if you don't believe that's true, get a professional women's football team. I'm talking American football. Have them play against a professional man's football team. And I guarantee you they'll be bringing stretchers out on the field. God created man bigger and stronger because he needed to be bigger and stronger to fit the roles that a man fits. Now, if you want to be lesbian, gay, whatever, I'll still love you and I'll still accept you. I don't judge that as long as you're a consenting adult. But when you start bringing children into this shit, that's when I got a problem with it. I'm almost 60. My children have been out of school for a long time, and they didn't have that shit going on when my kids were in school. But, I mean, putting tampons in the boys' bathroom. Look, if you're a trans man, you were born a woman and you identify as a man, or you were born a man and you identify as a woman, you're not going to have a period. I'm sorry, you're not. This is just biology. It's not me judging, it's just fucking facts. I sat and I watch all these congressional hearings here in America. I swear to God. An Ivy League college professor refused to say that a man born biologically a man cannot have a baby. She refused to say it. And we're arguing over all this shit. Most people I know that are straight, that aren't lesbian or gay, they don't give two fucks what two grown adults do in their bedroom. But they do give a fuck when people are trying to shove it down their throat. And even worse, shove it down their children's throat. You go to a gay pride parade in California, you got grown men wearing thongs. You got butt floss going up their ass, their dick and balls barely hanging in there, and that's on a public street going down the road. If I did that, I'd get charged. I'd have to register. It would be a decent exposure. What you do in your bedroom, two adults, that's your business. And don't get me wrong, nobody should harass you or give you a hard time about that. I know some dudes I've met that they got more female characteristics than women. And I know women that if they come swinging at you, you better put your fist up and fight her like a man, because she'll hurt you. I know some brawling bitches. But what they do does not concern me. But when they're grooming children, because so many of our world leaders and elites want to normalize the shit. There was a woman in California who wrote a newspaper article, and she said, if guns cannot be outlawed, then neither should pedophilia be outlawed. Bitch, you can't even compare those two fucking things. You can't even compare them. And as a parent, you have a right to know what's going on with your children. They're trying to pass laws where a child can go and get a sex change before they're an adult without the parents knowing. And that's bullshit. Man, the best teacher I ever had in my life whenever I went back to school was a gay man. He was a good guy. As a matter of fact, he had a leak in his roof, and I said, I used to be a roofer. I'll go take a look at it. And him and his boyfriend were living in this house. I went over, and first thing I did is I went in the attic. They said it was leaking down by the wall, dripping from the ceiling. I always go up in the attic. I go up in the attic, and I'm looking down at the wall, and I'm looking at the rafter, and I can see where water's running down the rafter, or the truss, running down, and it's dropping off on the wall. But the leak was way up by the ridge. So I got on the roof, I found a high nail, I beat it down, put some tar over it, and then put the shingle tab back down. And he said that his neighbor kept knocking his mailbox off because he was gay. I went over the street and knocked on his neighbor's door, and I told him, next time you knock that fucking mailbox over across the street, I'm going to come back over here and I'll beat your fucking ass. And about 2 months later, he said he still ain't had no problem out of the guy. I don't judge gay and lesbian people. I don't judge them. It's their right to be whatever they want to be, and they should not be harassed or messed with. But when the children are messed with, that's when I get angry. And instead of arguing over shit like that, and arguing over if a man can have a baby and all this other shit, we need to be protecting the children. That's what we need to be doing. We argue over the stupidest fucking shit. And like I said, most people don't give two fucks if you're gay or lesbian. Do your thing. It's your thing. Do what you want to do. But don't try to shove it down everybody else's throat, you know? Especially our children. And it's more the people in power are pushing this shit because they want to normalize it. It's like half the protests in this fucking country, they got people go up and ask them what they're protesting, they don't even fucking know. You got pallets of bricks being dropped off, they all got matching shields and everything else. Wearing their fucking masks on their face and then bitching about ICE having masks on their face. ICE is getting threatened. People are threatening to kill them. I mean, Jesus. The whole time I lived in Arizona, I had a lot of Mexican-American friends, a lot of them. And I loved the culture. I loved the culture. They are very family-oriented. Family's everything to them. Familia. Everything. Most of them are God-fearing people, and if you can keep up with them working, You earned your fucking paycheck, man. You earned your paycheck. I love the culture. I love the people. And I've been down in Mexico. I've seen a whole hillside in Nogales, Mexico, with people living in cardboard boxes. And they're terrified because of the cartel shit down there. I understand why they want to come to America. And I welcome them with open arms. But you got to do it the fucking right way. You can't have all your children going to the schools when you're not paying taxes into the system. It drains the system in the hospitals and the schools. Come to America, but do it the right fucking way. And then ICE, people are attacking ICE. That's like blaming fucking Ronald McDonald when you get a bad cheeseburger. I mean, they're police officers, but they're federal officers. Their job is to find people that are illegally in the country and deport them. Illegal aliens. That's the word, illegal. Battery is, everybody says, oh, it's a misdemeanor. Okay, so is a regular battery charge. I've had 37 of them, and every time they cuffed me and took me to fucking jail. The law says if you're here illegally, you're to be deported. And all these ICE agents are doing is trying to do their job and enforce the law. If you don't like the way the laws are, you write Congress, your congressman, you write your senator, you protest peacefully, and you take it to Congress, because Congress is the legislative branch. They're the ones that make the laws. So if you're unhappy with the laws, you should be unhappy with Congress, not the poor bastard that's job is to enforce the laws. The legislative branch is the congressional branch. They control the purse and they write the laws. But being 23 to 28% of people can't fucking read, maybe they don't know that. But taking it out on them, it ain't their fucking fault what the laws are. They're just enforcing them. That's their job. It's like getting mad at the police for enforcing the laws. They don't make the laws. They just enforce them. That's their fucking job. And I'll tell you what, when America became, I love history, when America became a country, about 50 years after we became a country, we were blowing up huge. And a lot of countries in Europe were like, what the fuck is going on over there? So they sent like ambassadors over to see what the hell was going on, why we were taking off so quick. And what they found is our education system was fucking incredible. Back then, an 8th grade education was equivalent to an associate's degree in college. If you look at the way they wrote, the words they used, the way they used the English language, it was eloquent. An 8th grader back then had more education than an associate degree today. And that's what made this country so powerful so quick. The education system. Now we got a quarter of the kids can't even fucking read. Probably don't even know how government works, but they want to fucking comment on it and protest. And probably don't even fucking vote. If you don't write your congressman, you don't write your senator, you still got a right to say what you want because there's freedom of speech in the country. But you should feel like a dumbass. If you don't care enough to vote and you don't care enough to write congressmen and senators about your concerns with the laws, then you shouldn't be out raising hell in the streets, lighting shit on fire, and trying to attack federal agents. That's just how I feel about it. Now, you come to America fair, the right way, I welcome you with open fucking arms. I got a neighbor from Honduras. I got a neighbor from Mexico. I don't know if they're illegal or not. The Honduras neighbor is my favorite neighbor. You ain't gonna see me calling no police or nothing on them. I'm live and let live. I stay in my own lane. But I get angry when people they expect their rights to be accepted, but they don't think anybody else has the right to believe what they want to believe. The way I feel about it, I'm letting it be known right now. What 2 consenting adults do, that is your right. I will not judge you. I will love you. I will respect you. My problem is when they bring the children into the shit. That's when I lose all. I was an abused child. And when they start bringing kids into this shit, consenting adult. Those are the key words for me. If you're a consenting adult and you're gay or lesbian, I love you. I accept you. I will never judge you. But if you're doing something with children or you're pushing shit on children, I got a problem with you. But that's all I got to say about that. I got to get in here and get this shit. Hopefully I don't get electrocuted tonight, because I got to mess it around in the fuse box, well, the breaker box. And that's the big shit going in there. I got stuck to my buddy Dave. His dad worked for the railroad. He used to make homemade dandelion wine. We go out and do work for him. His dad give us some of that wine. And we were carrying a deep freeze in, and I backed up into a bare wire that was hanging down from the ceiling. And it's a weird feeling being stuck to electricity, knowing you're getting electrocuted and not being able to move. His dad ran and knocked me off of it. But I'm gonna hop off here. Blessings to everyone. Sorry about the rant, but I'll put my comment on here. Well, I ain't gonna worry about all that. I done said how I feel about it. But blessings to everyone, whether you're gay or whatever. I don't care. I don't judge. Man, that's crazy. A 5-foot piece, 3/4 inch copper. This little thing here, $28.97. That's insane. And then I got my Frappuccino. Gotta have my Frappuccino. It's a cold Frappuccino. And then I got 2 couplers to fit on that 3/4 inch. And those were, how much were those? Basically, I took it up the butt without a reach around or Vaseline. The little couplers, 3/4 inch coupling, $2.84 each. And then I got the shark bites. And those are $10.20 each. These are shark bites. You slide it on over the copper and you push it down in there and you put the clip in and it won't leak. You don't have to solder or nothing. It's pretty cool. All together, what do we got? All together we have got, where's the grand total? Don't hit your mother in the head with the shovel. It leaves a bad impression on her mind. $73 and some change. That's insane. But at Menards, I always get these. You send in your receipt with this, and you'll get 11% rebate. They'll send you 11% of that 80. So I'll get like $8, $9 that I can spend in the store for free with that 11. Me and Amy's gone in there when we were putting new carpet and stuff in and the windows and all that. We had like $700, $800 worth of store credit from rebates. That 11% adds up everything you buy. And nowadays you got a penny pinch, but I got everything I need now, so now all I gotta do is try not to get electrocuted. Amy's mom come out. She was getting ready to have the baby, our youngest Josh, and her mom come out and stayed with us in Arizona, and she bought a ceiling fan. Amy was wanting a ceiling fan, so I figured I'd put it up while she was there, and I'm working on it. I took the old one down, disconnected the wiring, and I'm stubborn. I don't like flipping the breakers off. And her mom goes, she goes, you might want to turn that breaker off. I said, I'm all right, I almost got it done. I got zapped. She just laughing her ass off. I got down off the ladder. I went in the bedroom. I told Amy, I said, baby, I'll be back. She goes, where are you going? I said, I'm going to the bar. I need a drink. I'll finish this when your mother's sleeping. But I didn't yell at her or nothing. Amy's mom, she was a nurse, but she did volunteer hospice work. And that's where my wife got her heart. She looks like her mother. She's got that big, beautiful heart that her mother had. One of the hardest promises I made my wife was never put my hands on her father or her brother. And that's been a hard one to keep. The women in that family are second to none, top notch. The men are batshit crazy. Her brother called up one day and was wanting her to do something, and she said she couldn't. She had something else she was doing, and I heard his voice get louder on the phone, and then I heard him from all the way across the room while she's talking to him on the phone. I heard him say, I'll come over there. You don't want me to come over there. And I took the phone from her. I said, you come over here, I'll beat the fucking brakes off of you, you son of a bitch. You don't fucking threaten my wife. And he goes, she's my sister. I said, the day I married her, she became my wife. And that trumps being your sister. You don't ever call my wife and threaten her. And boy, he ain't done that since. He was a cokey, a police officer at the time, too. Told him I'll beat the brakes off of him. Call up screaming at my wife and shit, because she ain't gonna run and get you what you want right at that minute. And then her dad one time, well, 2 times pissed me off. Her mom had MS, and she towards the end, she was in an assisted living home. And, you know, I've thought about this since they've both passed on. That man was up there every fucking day sitting there with her. And I'm talking like 4 years. And when you've been married over 50 years to somebody, that would take its toll on you. It would be hard. I can imagine how I would feel if it was my wife. But Amy's mom wanted a necklace of the Blessed Mother for her birthday. So I went to Our Lady of the Snow Shrine and got her a real nice medallion, real nice silver one of the Blessed Mother. But the chains are cheap. So I went to the store and bought her a real nice lady's chain for the Virgin Mary medallion we got for her. And we gave it to her on her birthday. And she was so happy. She just loved it. She goes, put it on me, Amy. Amy put it on her. And her dad come up and ripped it off of her neck. I had to walk out, man. I just wanted to grab a hold of him and beat the living shit out of him. I thought that was just uncalled for. But looking back on it, the amount of stress that man was under and heartache up there every day, watching your wife slowly die of MS, it was rough. And then she did volunteer hospice, and we were up there one day, and she needed a bedpan, and I went down and told the nurses, and they were down there jibber jabbing. I went down and told them again, and then she had an accident. I mean, it was like 20 minutes she was waiting for that bedpan, and she had an accident. She was so embarrassed. And then one caregiver come in, and I said, you see that pin on the wall? I said, what's that say? And she said, Nancy, hospice volunteer. I said, yeah. I said, she deserves better than this. I fucking told you 2 times to come down here. Then she had an accident. She's humiliated because you were talking. And they weren't talking about work. I heard what they was talking about. It's talking about what they was doing yesterday and shit. Woman fucking was a loving mother, a loving wife, a good woman. She volunteered her time to help people die as easily as they can help them die. And this bitch can't bring it back. I was pissed, man. Them people deserve dignity when when they get old. They deserve dignity. Shit, you go through my neighborhood here, all the nicest looking houses and yards are the 80-something-year-olds. Because they took pride in shit, you know. They took pride in what they did in their houses and their everything. Don't hit your mother in the head with a shovel. It leaves a bad impression on her mind. Don't hit your mother in the head with a shovel. Oh, wait. Let me back up. They got these guys working across the street, and I don't want to have my car out in the road getting in their way. They might need to back up and shit. Looks like they're digging up the main backbone there to the house. Damn it, that's going to be fun. When these houses were built, from the sewer, the pipes that go out to the street from the house, they were tile pipes, and one slides in the other. And if one breaks, the problem is, if you try to replace just that one, as soon as you pull it out from the other one, they pancake and keep going down all the way. They're going to have to cut a trench all the way from the street to the house to replace that. It's a fucking nightmare. Don't hit your mother in the head with a shovel. It's a great day to whoop somebody's ass. It's a bad day, so you better get off of my back. You might get cold cocked if you cross my path. 'Cause it's a great day to whoop somebody's ass. Hey, Saudi, you ever had one of them days where nothing's going right? Your wife starts bitching about whatever it was she was bitching about last night. You escape into the bathroom just to sit there on your throne. And after you finish your business, the toilet paper's gone. Get back, 'cause it's a great back beast. Here.
Oh, thank you.
I love you. It was 70 something. I got the receipts and the receipt. This was almost 30 bucks.
Yeah, that's why I got it.
Hey guys, hold on, I'll get you a treat. Happy dogs, happy dogs, happy dogs. Come on, let's get a treat.
He was watching Surf's Up.
Here you go, guys. One for Salty, one for Henny Penny. Okay, well, I'm gonna get off here and upload this and get something done. Much love to everybody.